Welcome back, everybody. So in today's video, we're going to be doing the Metro Division, last division in the NHL. So hockey comes back this week. Thank God for that. Well, let's just jump right into it. Carolina Hurricanes made a lot of moves, even though they were a few games away from making it to the Stanley Cup Final. They signed Ryan Dzingel, depth guy. Got Eric Holla in a trade from Vegas, another depth guy. And then their pretty big moves was trading Justin Falk, which was actually a few days ago, for Joel Edmondson and Dominic Bach. Dominic Bach being the major piece in that deal going back for the Hurricanes, former first-round pick. Another prospect that's pretty good for them is Martin Necas. He's going to be a stud in this league. And then getting Jake Gardner, I don't know. That one was a little bit confusing. Just because they have so much defense already that, why do they need more? But, Carolina should be pretty good unless goaltending is an issue and you have Peter Mrazek in net. So that's a bit iffy.
And not to mention they kept Aho, even though he signed an offer sheet elsewhere.
Even though Montreal offer sheeted him, but Carolina
he wasn't going to leave.
No, he wasn't going to leave at all. Well, speaking of leaving teams...
Oh, boy.
Columbus Blue Jackets...
Lost everyone.
So, you acquire Ryan Dzingel and Matt Duchene at the deadline for a playoff run. And, granted, they had an amazing playoff run to an extent.
Yeah.
They finally got out of the first round. But you literally lost Ryan Dzingel, Matt Duchene, Artemi Panarin, and Sergei Bobrovsky
in one
offseason.
haul. You get nothing in return from them.
Well, basically. They're trying to recoup a little bit by signing Gustav Nyquist, which I'm sorry, I love Gustav, but he's no Artemi Panarin. He's not even close. His best year might be 60 points.
Wow.
So,
they lost everything. They didn't get anything in return. They traded away some of their future for it.
Yep.
And what did they do? They made it to
the second round, which is technically their...
it's history for them.
Their version of the Stanley Cup, I guess you could say.
And that's probably the farthest they're going to get
in a long time.
Probably at least a decade. So,
yeah.
Rebuild time for them.
Yeah, well, speaking of rebuilds, two teams in this division, one being the New Jersey Devils. Again, a team that made a decent amount of moves. Obviously, getting the first overall pick.
Yep. Number one pick.
Drafting Jack Hughes, which kid looked really good in the preseason.
And, he was there, and as soon as they knew they were getting the number one pick, I'm pretty sure they couldn't take their eyes off of him.
Yeah. Traded for PK Subban, which I think it was a little bit of a steal. They didn't really give up. They didn't give up any first-round picks at all.
Yeah.
It was only second-round picks, and the prospects that they gave up aren't going to be anything great.
It's a good veteran addition to that locker room.
Speaking of veterans, signing Wayne Simmons for added depth, will add a little bit of grit to that lineup, and then a guy who they signed, Nikita Gusev. I'm not sure about this guy. I don't know how good he'll be, I guess you could say. He posted good numbers over in the KHL, and it's really hard to score over in the KHL, but at the same time, not everybody translates over into the NHL. But who knows?
We'll see.
Islanders really did not do anything. They lost Robin Leonard, which he was an absolute stud last season. They signed Simeon Varlamov to replace Leonard, which I think that's a downgrade. And then signing Derek Brassard.
Oh boy.
Which, it's a good contract because it's team friendly, but Derek Brassard, I don't know.
Past his prime.
Yeah, he's not been great. Well, speaking of that other rebuild.
The other rebuild, yeah.
The New York Rangers got the big fish in free agency, signing Artemi Panarin to a massive contract, over $11 million. Getting the number 2 overall pick and drafting Capo Caco. Trading for Adam Fox, who was a collegiate stud. And then trading for Jacob Trouba, I mean, they really shored up a lot of question marks, and overall, I think they'll be
scary.
Much better. Yeah, they'll be scary. I don't know if they'll be scary this year, but like their future is bright.
Yeah, for sure.
A team that I'm very questionable on is the Philadelphia Flyers. You traded for Kevin Hayes, which, like, Kevin Hayes is a pretty okay player, I'd say. He's not that bad. But you're paying him over $7 million per season. That is a big overpayment. Massively overpaid. Trading for Justin Braun from the San Jose Sharks, and then trading Matt Niskanen for trading for Niskanen.
That's a little...
Yeah, Niskanen didn't have a great year last year. I don't know. Can Carter Hart be the main guy in net? We'll see. Like, goaltending is a question mark for literally, I'd say, almost every team except for one team in this division.
Fair. It's pretty fair.
Pittsburgh Penguins. Pretty. I don't like their off-season moves. You signed Brandon Tanev to not only a pretty overpayment deal, you also signed him, I think it's 6 years, at like just over $3 million. That's pretty bad for a fourth liner.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. And then obviously the big move is trading away the 2-time Stanley Cup champion, Phil Kessel.
Yeah.
To Arizona, getting Alex Galchenyuk, Pierre-Olivier Joseph back in the deal, which, don't get me wrong, those players are going to be good, but
it's not win-now players.
You're losing a pretty big part of your offense. And then the most up-to-date rumor is Jack Johnson most likely being moved out. And then there's also rumors that they might be looking at trading for Julius Honka, which I'm a big fan of Julius Honka, but
I think most Pittsburgh fans, if they're listening to this, would probably say it's time for Johnson to go.
Oh, it's
there's been nothing but problems since he was signed, and
he needs to go.
I don't know what
ASAP.
they were thinking. The defense just needs a spark because
that defense is shaky.
There's not truly a one above average pure defender on that team.
Yeah.
Because Letang's offensive.
Yeah, Letang's fully offensive.
And then you got Dumoulin, who sometimes it looks like he doesn't even know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on Goodbranson and Pedersen.
And then you got Johnson. I mean,
Justin
Schultz.
Justin Schultz is there, but
he's pretty good, but he's tend to be more on the offensive side.
And he did have a horrific injury last year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, last team in the NHL that we're covering, Washington Capitals, making a lot of depth moves. Traded Matt Niskanen to the Flyers for Radko Gudas, which I think is kind of like an upgrade for the Capitals, just because Matt Niskanen was terrible last season, and Gudas can help with the PK, which Caps struggled a little bit. Signed Richard Panik to pretty okay deal. Trade away Andre Burakovsky. Caps are going to be good, like always. Like, there's no real debate about that, but I don't know. I don't know about this division. This division's really tough. Like, me personally, I only have 2 locks.
Okay.
That I feel comfortable saying.
The Blue Jackets missing the playoffs. Well, finishing at the bottom.
Okay, then 3 locks.
Okay.
Blue Jackets are obviously. I think Blue Jackets are going to be the worst team in this division.
Would you consider worst team in the league?
No.
Still, Ottawa's worse.
I would say maybe bottom 5.
That might be an accomplishment for them.
Around the 4th, 5th spot.
Okay. Pretty much at play for the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my other 2 locks are Capitals making the playoffs, and then the other one is Carolina. I feel comfortable enough in their offensive depth and their defensive depth that I think even though if they have a little bit of goalie issues, they'll still be okay.
Okay. But
outside of that,
it's anybody's
You can make any argument for any team.
Except for Columbus.
You
wouldn't be surprised if any team made it or any team
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about anything.
Because, I mean, it could be the beginning of the end for the Penguins.
Could be.
The Flyers really didn't make any real helpful moves.
Yeah.
The Rangers bulked up, but they have to mush first.
The Islanders might be able to repeat.
Maybe.
Devils
got
better.
Honestly, a stud, a generational type player, seems like.
Taylor Hall's healthy.
And he's also saying that he wants to re-sign or sign a long-term deal.
Yeah.
We're talking to him about that, so they could be good for a couple years. But this year, I mean...
It all comes down to goaltending, honestly.
Yeah, really, I mean, who else? Well, Pittsburgh's defense is tragic, and that looks bad on Matt Murray. And could they just... If at best, I'm saying, and this is being a fan of theirs, probably a wild card team at best for Pittsburgh.
Right. Who do you think's making... No particular order. Who do you think's making it?
Carolina,
out of the Metro.
Washington... I personally believe there's going to be 4 from this division, as opposed to
5 from the other.
Yes.
Okay.
I say it's Carolina, Washington, and I'll probably just say the 4 from last year.
Okay.
Only because
you're going with
the Devils are probably a year away, because they also need to mesh, and the Rangers got a huge haul, but they could jump right in. Because Trouba and Panarin...
already established players.
Right. I don't have any faith in the Flyers, and this could just be the Penguins' last year to show anything. And if they don't go far, could the Kessel trade indicate a complete overhaul? Obviously, you're not getting rid of Crosby.
You're not getting rid of Crosby.
You're not going to...
Probably not going to trade Malkin.
You're not trading Gensel.
No.
But could everybody else on the team be...
expendable?
Yeah. Hopefully not Jared McCann, because I really like him, but...
honestly, this one's tough. So obviously Caps and Hurricanes are my locks making the playoffs. I don't think the Islanders are repeating this year. I don't think they're going to the playoffs.
Okay.
Because you have Leonard and then you have Varlamov. And that's a major downgrade.
Good surprise.
Could, but I don't think that's happening.
Don't predict it. Don't be too confident.
And then...
You can't look at me in the eye and say Philly's going to be there.
No, Philly's... I honestly don't even think Philly's going to be in the fight with 2 weeks left. I think Philly will be kind of knocked out by a month out.
So beginning, middle of March?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I'm just torn on whether or not 3 or 4 teams come out of this division.
Okay, because you want to say...
Because I'm big fans of Montreal and I'm big fans of Florida.
Okay.
On the other side. But at the same time, Pittsburgh Penguins are the Pittsburgh Penguins. Whether they have a shaky defense or not...
They still have Sidney
Crosby. Exactly. So because of them having Sidney Crosby, I'm going to say that there's going to be 4 teams coming out.
4 of each?
4 on each.
Okay.
And I'm going to say the Penguins take a wild card spot. As my third team, I'm probably going to go... This might be a little bit bold, but I'm going to go with the New York Rangers. Hank had a pretty bad season last year.
But they do pick up a great defenseman in Trouba.
They do.
And Panarin was the big fish, like you said, in free agency.
I like them.
I can't disagree with that.
I think Hank will rebound a little bit. And plus, with the other goalie that they have, I think Hank's workload will be a little bit less. So, less on the body.
As he gets older, you don't want to put him in there for 60 games.
I think it could be a split around, I don't know, maybe 50 something.
Yeah.
Around 50, 48 maybe for Hank. That'd be
whatever he feels comfortable with.
But yeah, I think the Rangers could potentially make the playoffs.
I'm not going to even argue with you there.
But like we said, we can make an argument for every team making the playoffs.
Except for Columbus.
But yeah, this one wraps up.
This wraps up the NHL Metro division and every division.
Yep.
We covered all the teams. And
maybe in the next one we'll do an actual playoff prediction.
Maybe.
But
playoffs start playoffs. Regular season starts on Wednesday.
But next episode, we're going to be recapping Week 4 of the NFL.
And
we'll see you guys then.
Mm-hmm.